Welcome to the Grow Your Business and Grow Your Wealth podcast with Gary Heldt. Gary is an expert in helping business owners put together a plan that will provide a better future for their businesses, themselves, and their families. On the podcast, Gary interviews other professionals who share his vision, and together they share secrets and strategies any business owner can use to build a better financial foundation for your business and your life.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm with Matt Truman with First Washington Mortgage. Matt has over 22 years in the mortgage banking industry. Thanks for joining us today, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
So what made you pursue a career in mortgage business?
Kind of fell into my lap in 96, 97 while I was in college. I needed to do an internship, and I happened to fall into a Crestar Mortgage, working there under a top mortgage professional there, and kind of fell in love with the business. And from here on there, 22 years later, I'm still doing it. So,
what's your favorite thing about being in this business?
Basically, interaction with clients, educating the clients, and just making them smile to get in their first home, and that's everybody's dream. So.
Right. So what are some of the fears that someone who's buying their first home that they have that you're able to, that they don't necessarily, that they really shouldn't have, and you help ease their mind about it?
First, probably be credit. Like, they're not sure about their credit. I don't want you to pull my credit because I hear, horrible things in terms of, my credit scores might drop, or I don't know if I have any collections or judgments or anything like that on the credit. But, until we pull it, you never know. But that's one of the things that people are most nervous about when they come to buying a house. Or the second thing is do we have enough money? Where can we get money from? There's different ways of sources to have, down payment. But that's pretty much the fears I see in people's eyes, clients.
So if they have, say you pull their credit and they do have bad credit, is that something that you help them repair? Or
Absolutely.
kind of tell them
Absolutely.
how
I
to
put
do
them
it?
I put them on a path, go over everything in terms of, hey, you should pay this off, make sure you get the letters, and then put them on a path of rebuilding their credit to try to get them a credit card to use for purchasing gas, purchasing groceries, something that they could pay off easily every month, to start building up their credit. And if there's any judgments or anything like that on there, we are able to take care of those too. Contacting the right person to get it taken care of and released. But that's pretty much on that aspect.
What are some of the questions that your clients or potential clients should be asking you, but they don't?
Some, they don't even ask, how long I've been in the business, or, what kind of angles I've done, or do I even own a house? It's, that's pretty much it there. I don't really, because most of the time they come in, I have repeat buyers, so they definitely know they've already owned a house. They're buying a second home. But most of the time, the first-time home buyers that come in, I'm there to basically educate them. So basically, step by step, I'm really, telling them this is how you should kind of do things. Occasionally, they might have a question or two. Well, what are these fees, or how much is this going to cost? Or how much money out of my pocket actually am I going to be spending?
Right.
Those are some of the questions they should be asking, not just coming in blind and saying, just give me a mortgage.
Right. What are some of the most common mistakes that you see the clients making when they're applying for a mortgage?
Well, like I tell my clients up front, once you make application and you're buying a house or refinancing a house, please do not go out and purchase anything, open any new credit cards, go get any car loans, or please contact me first before you do any of those, is what I kind of emphasize to them, because it could affect you in the end, in terms of you not qualifying. And then now we're back to square one, and now you don't have a house.
Gotcha. What can you talk about why people should use a realist or a mortgage professional like yourself as compared to, we see, especially on the golf tournaments and other things, hey, Rocket Mortgage or these other ones that you can go online. Why is it important to use a professional like you as compared to trying to do that?
Well, I always tell clients that you should actually, you should always get a second opinion. If you come to me and they want to have a second opinion, that's fine. I encourage it. I also encourage that you should use somebody that's local to the area, that is familiar with the area. I personally like speaking to somebody. When you call to Rocket Mortgage Day or Quicken Loans or those internet-based companies, chances are you're either emailing somebody or it's an automated system. You're taking forever to get through to somebody. I don't really like voicemail. I may occasionally have somebody go to my voicemail. I pick up the phone. So you always have somebody to talk to.
Right. So what do you wish you knew then that you know now when you first got into the business?
It's changed so dramatic. So the mortgage industry has changed in the past 20 years. It's really hard to answer that question. Yeah, because even with the COVID going on right now, the guidelines have changed. Every other day we're getting something different, and then it goes back. So the mortgage industry, in my eyes, has done a whole 180 compared to when I first started. With internet-based things. When I first started, I was handwriting applications. So, it wasn't in a computer yet. But I don't really have anything that'll, stick out that I can answer that one now.
Okay. So what are your biggest challenges right now in the mortgage industry?
My biggest challenge right now, I'd have to say, is getting back out there right now, getting back out with my realtors and face-to-face time, which is, it's starting to happen now. But, these last 3 months, it's, besides talking on the phone, who wants to talk on the phone? I'm going to pound the pavement. I want to get out there and enjoy time with my realtors, and clue them in on what's going on their end, and then have actually them on the real estate side, and, tell me what's going on their side.
Right.
But that's basically it right now.
So, besides the COVID-19 and us being limited and being able to actually, shake the hand and be right there with people, kind of what other challenges do you see that are in the mortgage industry?
Basically, the challenges in the mortgage industry now are basically product. Product in terms of who has the product that's going to fit that person. A lot of people right now, with the back end ratios, front end ratios, people sometimes not qualifying. Basic credit. Some people's credit right now is taking a hit because people don't. They're furloughing their jobs and they can't make their payments, and people are back, not making their mortgage payments in agreements with the banks right now. I haven't run anything yet right now, but I know it's going to start cycling in.
Right. So tell me about a recent client that you helped, and kind of what was the issue? Obviously, no names, but what was the issue and how did you help them overcome it?
Basically, I had one client, it was a short sale. I had to basically tell the client, we needed to be patient. Of course, 50, 60, 70 days went by, and I told him it could take up to, 120 days, depending on what these banks do. Eventually, he was, the client was, was getting kind of angry, and I had to step in and tell him this, we're here for you. We're not going anywhere. As soon as we have stuff, we find out stuff, we tell the client. But in the long run, I mean, it came down to it. We were making calls, I got on the phone with the bank myself, and like, this is ridiculous. I have, he's a single father, and he needs a house for his son. So finally, eventually, the short sale went through, and it only took 24 hours for us to get those papers together and get him in the house. But that was the last one. It was a tricky one, but we were able to get it through in the end.
Now, do you recommend that that someone comes to you before they start looking for a house, or do you think it's best to just go out, find the house you want, and then come to you?
Oh no, definitely come to me first. That way we can at least see what you're comfortable with paying. Like if you're renting right now and your rent's $2,000 a month, do you want to stick at that payment, or do you have a lean, can you lean toward 2,500? Can you be 3,000 a month? So I highly recommend you come see a mortgage professional. That way, you're not looking at a $600,000 house and, oh my God, I can't afford that. So, I mean, absolutely.
You work with a wide variety of people and issues and things like that. So what's one of the things that has been most important to you that you've learned with dealing such a wide range of people?
Patience. Being patient with everybody. Everybody's different. Everybody has a lot of questions, and some people don't have questions, but it's being patient and honest with your clients, and being upfront.
So who would be the ideal client for Matt Truman?
You. I don't really have an ideal client. I have, my clients range from all over the place. I don't really, God love me, I would love the guy that comes in and puts 20% down and has 800 credit scores, but it doesn't happen that way. So, I like all my clients. Every time's a different task. So it teaches me to expand my horizon pretty much.
Right. What, it sounds like, you have a lot of referral business and things like that. Where do you, from a businessman standpoint, where do you go out and try to get and meet new referral sources?
Usually when I go to see like my current agents, I'll go through the office and introduce myself to newer agents that have just popped into the office to tell them, hey, I've been dealing with so-and-so for the last 10 years. If you need anything, let me know, and go from there. But that's basically it. And my networking, just being out at events, charity events, maybe golf tournaments and stuff like that, organizations, and I do a lot of that. So that's mainly how I get a lot of my business.
Okay. So, when rates fluctuate or go down or whatever it looks like they may do, how do you reach out to your existing client base to let them know?
Usually blast emails to my clientele, my past clients. We have I have basically a rate. It's like a rate find, not a rate finder, but a rate. If your rate goes down a half a point, is it really worth it to you, kind of thing, system. But usually that's, I'm all internet based in terms of that. But I usually, I'll go through all my closing sheets from the past year or so, or 2 years, and just go through to see if, did I help this person yet? Did I help this client yet? But that's basically how, I'll get returning business, unless they just reach out to me.
Right. So
which does happen.
Right. With the, kind of the change in our norm with COVID-19, how do you see that changing the mortgage industry and changing the way you're going to have to do business?
Well, everything's moved to the to email and internet. We're very seldom right now are we meeting clients in the office. Sometimes I'll have to even go to their house and pick up stuff because they won't leave their house, or they don't, then they don't have capability of scanning something in and emailing it and stuff like that. So it's it's been a task for the last 3 months, because it's, now we're in the office and, more emailing than anything else or on the phone, but there's no face to face anymore,
Right.
which I'm missing that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all probably missing that.
Yeah, I know that for my business, I've gone more, more Zoom and things like that, just so
Sure.
that way people can see. I'm able to share, documents with them and stuff like that are on my screen and stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've used the Zoom a couple times.
Yeah,
Mhm.
still have the problems with signing documents and stuff like that
Sure.
that you're talking about. But we've definitely tried to do more Zoom to have that face to face. With
Yeah, we moved everything to e-sign, but there's still some documents we need wet signatures on, and it's tough, like if you can at least print them out and sign them, I'll cruise by,
right,
and pick them up for you.
right. So what would be some of the first steps that, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, to do business with you from wanting a loan or referring business to you, what do they need to do? How do they get in touch with you?
Basically, you can call me at the 301-922-3044. You can email me at mtruman@firstwashingtonmortgage.com. And at the meantime, you want me to let them know? I mean, I can let them know what to gather together if you'd like, or anything like that.
Sure.
Basically, your last 2 years of W-2s, tax out. You want to have all your financial documents together. So you want to keep your last 30 days of pay stubs. You want your last 2 months of bank statements, copy of your driver's license. And if there's anything else on the outspecs, anything else out there in terms of if you went through a divorce or anything like that, we can go into that via email and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I mean, those are your upfront pre-approval, getting approval done.
Okay. What are some of the, I'm going to say, you talked about, divorce documents and stuff like that. What type of thing has kind of been your, I'm going to say your craziest thing that you've had to kind of ask somebody for, when going through, doing mortgage for
them? In terms of the divorce documents, or just anything?
No,
in general?
just anything, just something that's kind of outlandish.
I tell you the truth, I don't think I've ever had. I don't think I've ever had anything like that. Anything out of the ordinary, I should say. I mean, I've had some weird appraisals come in my days, but but nothing out of the ordinary I've asked from a client. Besides the mainstream on a divorce separation and stuff like that. I mean, reading through it, I mean, there wasn't. I don't think I've ever had anything pop out, and have to ask for something out of the ordinary.
Right. So you brought up appraisal. So in a process, I've always kind of heard different things and stuff like that. I mean, who gets to choose the appraiser when I'm going for that mortgage?
Oh,
Is
boy.
it you? Is it me?
Well, no, it basically it goes into what they call an AMC company. It's an automated mortgage company. So back in the day, we were able to say, okay, let's use Gary for appraisals on this one. Let's do so and so on this one. Nowadays it goes into a wheel, and they spin it, and whoever is in your queue, that's who it goes to pretty much. So, and it's limited to area too. So if it's in Calvert County, it's going to be somebody in Calvert County. If it's somebody in Arundel County, it's going to be in. It's not going to be somebody from Texas coming in here doing an appraisal that has no clue what's going on.
Right.
We don't have that. It's all local appraisals.
Okay. Have you found that that's kind of better for you? Not as good? I mean, what's been your experience with that?
In the beginning, when they started this about 5-6 years ago, in the beginning it was bad because some of these appraisers just didn't know. They weren't appraising properties correctly, and they were just throwing people into the wheel, and it just didn't work out. Nowadays, probably the last couple, I've probably ran into 1 or 2 problems with an appraiser, but nothing crazy. We got it fixed. We got comps, and that was the end of it. We got the value for the house, but it's come along, but it's starting to move along. So it's gotten a lot better.
Right. Now, what what about like homeowners insurance and
Mhm.
things like that? What for somebody who's new into it, do you have people that you refer that out to, or
I
do you just
do. I
kind of
do. I
tell them
give
they're on
them,
their own?
I pretty much ask them, do you have car insurance? They, yes. Okay. Well, you probably want to call them. Here's another person or two if you want to do comparison. I always have them do that because next thing you know, that could push them out of qualification because somebody's, ends up charging them too much money for their homeowner's insurance, which, now they're gouging the client. So
Right.
because someone else can save you $300 or something. But yes, I always give an option.
Okay, great.
Hmm.
So what haven't I asked you that you would like to share with our listeners?
Um, I don't really I don't really have anything, Gary. You pretty much answered pretty much every question I think that a client out there in the mortgage industry probably would have. Um, in terms of even if they needed to find a realtor, and they didn't have one and they came to me, I would recommend a few, and they can go from there. In that aspect, but I don't. I'm pretty content here with the questions you've asked. I mean,
Okay.
basically you hit the point. You hit the nail on the head
All
with
right.
the questions.
So, just for our listeners, repeat back your, phone number and stuff, how they can get in contact with you
Hmm.
if they want to reach out to you.
It's Matthew Truman, 301-922-3044. And my email is mtruman@firstwashingtonmortgage.com. And first is spelled out, FIRST.
All right. Matt, thanks again for
Hey,
being
thanks
on
for
the
having me,
podcast
Gary.
today.
It's great. Yep.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon, bud.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/